Hello and welcome to this week's Mindset Minute. We are going to be discussing this week the power of choosing your energy. And you may be listening to this and going, what in the world do you mean by choosing my energy? Well, that's what we're going to talk about, exactly what that means and how you can do it and how this can change your life when you decide to choose your energy, when you decide what energy you're going to step into. So first, I'm going to give you a little bit of basics about what is energy, how does it work, and how does it affect my life all the time. So first of all, everything in this world is energy. When anything that is matter, we are 99.999% energy. This pen, this marker is 99.999% energy, right? We're solid because energy is just that, it's just slowed down and it becomes mass, right? We've learned E equals MC squared. Energy is is mass sped up really fast, like to the speed of light, multiplied really fast. And that's when we get energy. But when we slow it way down, that's where we get things that are solid. That's where we become human, that we can be humans. That's where this can be a pen. That's where these can be a pair of sunglasses, right? All of that, it is just that energy slowed way down to the right speed so that it can form mass. So when we're talking about energy, energy is everything in our life and it can control everything in our life. So our emotions are energy, our limiting beliefs are energy, our actions are energy. They produce an energy. Have you ever been sitting in a room where your energy is just sort of there, right? You're neutral. You're not really high, you're not really low, and somebody walks into the room with very different energy. Maybe they're high and really excited and your energy goes up. And sometimes you'll be sitting there and their energy is just depressing and low, and boom, it sucks the energy right out of you, right? That's how energy works. That's how it influences our life all the time on a daily basis. But everything we do, every choice we make, every goal we're trying to achieve, everything that we're doing is all around our energy and the energy that we carry with us. And the powerful thing is we can choose this. We can choose how it affects us. Maybe you say, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. I'm sitting in a room and somebody comes in and they feel really icky and they bring the energy down. I don't have a choice on that. But actually, you do. You have a choice as to how that's going to affect you and how you're going to live with that. And it's because it's happening to us all the time, around and around and around. And sometimes we choose not to let it bother us. And sometimes we're in a place where we're open to it. We're open to it bothering us, and it does, and it affects us greatly. So I work with people, as a holistic performance coach. I work with people to help them move from point A to point Z in their life very, very quickly. We can make those shifts in our lives, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in health and wellness, whether it's in building a business, whatever it is. All of that is energy. And when we learn to harness it and learn to choose the energy that we want in our life, we can shift everything and we can move it really quickly. We can choose what we think, what we feel, and we can choose that. So I'm going to really go through pretty quickly. Let me teach you a little bit about how it works, right? An emotion is just energy. And an emotion takes 90 seconds to run from head to toe through our bodies, all the way through, right? When we're hit with an emotion, a lot of times, if it's a happy emotion, if it's a good, quote unquote, positive emotion, right? We don't have any problem. We feel it, we enjoy it, and it just, that energy of it runs through our bodies. Our bodies are energy cycles. Maybe you've heard of chakras, maybe you've heard of meridians. Those are just energy lines, points throughout our body, right? And so these things run all the time, up and down through our bodies, and our body can function really well when those lines are open. Maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't. But when we feel an emotion, that's exactly what happens. Is that emotion is supposed to run from head to toe. It takes about 90 seconds for that to happen. So when we have a good emotion, that's no problem. We let it go straight through us. We feel it. We enjoy it. And our body is like, yeah, I'm aligned to that. I'm aligned to that happy emotion, though sometimes people aren't. Someone who is really struggling with depression or anxiety or all kinds of things going on, when they feel that, they don't allow that to go through themselves, and so they block it out. They don't let that emotion, that energy of the positive energy, they don't let it in. I've seen this a lot with people where they just have a block around them, and that energy just can't come in and can't go through them. So even a positive emotion sometimes can't do its job. But more often than not, it's the negative emotion that we struggle with, right? Our body, we feel it. Something happens. We feel overwhelmed. We feel anxiety. We feel stress. We feel sadness, right? And it comes in and we don't let it run its course 90 seconds from head to toe. We don't feel it. Our brain clicks in and says, I don't want to deal with this right now. Maybe you're at work and something happens and you're frustrated, you're feeling frustrated, or you're feeling angry, or you're feeling sad, and your brain says, this is not the appropriate place to allow myself to feel this right now. I can't let tears come out. I can't scream. I can't hit something. I can't process this emotion. So I'm going to take the energy of this emotion, right? And I'm just going to shove it aside and I'm going to deal with it later. Our brain cannot feel emotion. Our brain cannot feel feelings. Our brain can think about it, our brain can analyze it, but our brain cannot feel it, think it, show it. It can't process it that way. So when we take that energy of that feeling and we shove it aside, we push it to some corner of our body and it sits there. And usually, unfortunately, we don't go back and clear it. And it sits there and it sits there and it sits there. And this is where we come on and our bodies start to break down because we're leaving this energy, this low vibration energy of anger, frustration, fear, sadness, overwhelm. I could just keep rattling off these things, anxiety, right? They're parked in our body and we're not clearing it, right? It just sits there. And what does energy do? Energy attracts like energy. So when you're feeling these things, it's pulling more of the same in. So people who really struggle with all of these things, it's because you're holding on to, and we all do it to some degree. Every one of us has trapped energies in there. This is part of being human, right? And it's pulling more in, right? More, it wants more to be fed. But we don't have to have that. And this is what's coming back to the power of choosing your energy. You can choose what energy has control over your body. Because when we hold on to it, our body's like a big parking lot. So this energy, think of your body, think of your heart. It's a parking lot. And there are semi trucks coming in and out, bringing in and out the things that it needs throughout the day, the energy that it needs, the blood supply that it needs, all the things in, out, in, out, in, out. But when those parking spots are filled up with these balls of energy of old stuff that we've just held on to, our body can't work. The trucks can't get in and out and do what it needs to do. And so when we go out of balance, first we go out of balance energetically. And when it stays out of balance too long energetically, then what happens? Then we start getting physical ailments. That's when our body starts to break down because we're not getting our energy is not running through our bodies properly for our body to function properly. So that's when we start to get dis-ease. We don't feel well. So first it might start with some basic symptoms, and that's that truck honking its horn, beep, 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 listen to me, 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 clear this energy. And when you do that, we can then come back in line energetically and our body can heal. Sometimes when we go too far past and we've held it too long, we get disease that we can't flip around that way. But a lot of things we can. And it comes back to choosing. What energy am I going to choose? What am I going to hold on to? And as a coach, this is exactly what I help people do. I have a private community, subscription-based community, where this is what we're doing every week in our sessions is we are finding those trapped energies, those trapped things, those trapped limiting beliefs, those trapped negative thoughts, because we all have them. It's all real. We all hold on to them. We find those things around different topics each week and we clear it so that all of a sudden, it's not pulling for more, right? Let's talk about someone who's an emotional eater. I work with a lot of people that are emotional eaters. I work with myself as an emotional eater, right? I came into the coaching business as a health and wellness, a weight loss and wellness coach 7.5 years ago. And the number one thing that I have found, why do people put their weight back on after they go on any kind of weight loss program, right? Quote unquote diet. 85%, at least those used to be the numbers. I think it's probably higher than that, but we're going to stick with 85%. 85% of the people that go on a quote unquote diet put their weight back on within 2 years. Why is that? Why do we struggle with this? I'll tell you. We talk a lot about lifestyle change, and yes, you have to change your lifestyle. You have to change those habits. But Anyone who's been on a weight loss journey, we know exactly what to eat and what not to eat, right? I can tell you all the tactical, practical rules. It's not about tactical, practical. What happens is we have this old energy. The reasons the weight gain is just a symptom of deeper things. It's fears, it's overwhelm, it's anxiety, it's not feeling worthy, it's I don't deserve to be in a healthy body. It's how we bury the other things. So the clients that I have had that are most successful, when you ask them how they've kept their weight off, it's not just the tactical practical, because that's willpower, and willpower dies, my friend. It does not last forever. It lasts for some amount of time, but we can't keep it there. We have to face the energetic pieces in our body. We have to start looking deeper and saying, what's going on here, right? What usually comes up is, I don't feel worthy. The thought processes of, I can't do this. I've never been able to do it before, and so I'm not going to be able to do it this time. I'm a fraud. I don't deserve to be healthy, right? There's all these things that go on in our thought processes that we don't even realize. It's an energy that's in there. As someone who's struggled with my weight for my entire adult life, I can tell you that that is the biggest piece. When I'm, find myself in the kitchen going for something that doesn't make sense, I know logically what is a healthy choice and what isn't. It's not about logic. It's that old energy pulling in and attracting more because it's comfort, right? That anxiety, that emotion, that overwhelm, that frustration, that all the things, it's looking for comfort. And so making it comfortable is what our brain, our thinker brain, is trying to do. It's trying to make it comfortable. But instead, if we start listening to our emotions and to our intuition, we can release that energy. We can tell that energy, I don't choose you. I choose me. I choose to feel worthy instead of unworthy. I choose to face the overwhelm in the eye and clear out that energy. Those things can all be done. So whatever goal you're going to for in your life, the number one thing is, what energy are you choosing? A lot of people talk about positive affirmations, and I'm all for positive affirmations. Okay. Positive affirmations are great. But what happens with positive affirmations? When you just start saying positive affirmations and piling them on top, and you're not clearing, you're not facing the energy that's underneath that you're trying, that you wish would go away. If you're not facing it, all you're doing is smushing that energy deeper into your body and trying to hide it, but it's still there. So I actually had a client who spoke to the other day, who has said to me, she said, I've had the same positive affirmations for an entire year and they're not doing me any good. And I said, no, they're not going to do you any good. Because when you say those affirmations, I am living a healthy life. Okay. You get up and you tell yourself that every morning, but you haven't dealt with the other energies that are going on. You're a fraud. You've never been able to do it. You'll never be able to keep your weight off. All of the things, right? I am a successful business owner. And inside your head is going, you've never been able to make a penny in your life. You've never been able to run a successful business. You're not going to get any sales. Those energies are real and they're living inside of you. And so often we pile these positive affirmations on top of them. We're taught to say affirmations every day, every day, every day, every day. And I have an amazing tool that helps with affirmations. It's called the MindSync tool, and it's part of my AO scan system. You guys have probably you guys have heard me talk about the tones. So the MindSync at the bottom, that's a new piece that works with affirmations, and it uses binaural tones to help your body take the energy of that and accept that energy of it. But the key, one thing that I have learned by playing with the MindSync, which has been really powerful, and this is what I'm teaching people how to do, is how to actively recognize and acknowledge and talk to those underlying limiting beliefs that we're trying to hide. Face them in the eye and say, I don't choose you. I choose this. And when we choose this, that's when that positive can become aligned with our body and we can actually create it. It's really, really powerful. So if you are stuck in your life right now, in any aspect of your life, the first thing I want to tell you is, you don't have to be stuck there. I don't care what it is. You do not have to be stuck there, but you have to decide. And to decide means to cut off all other options. You have to decide that you're not going to be stuck there anymore. We stay stuck in places because we're gaining benefit from it. Even if we don't feel like it, even if it's icky and yucky and miserable, we stay there because we're gaining some sort of benefit, and because that benefit just might be that it's safe. It's safe. I know how to deal with this ick and yuck. 7.5 years ago, when I was 75 pounds overweight and on my way up once again, right? I had lost 100 pounds over the course of 2 years prior, hit a plateau because I hadn't really, and this was the prime thing. I knew what to do. I had lost almost 100 pounds. I knew what to eat. I knew how to exercise. I knew how much water to drink. I knew all the stuff. It had worked. And I hit a plateau because that entire 2 years that I was losing that weight, what was going on in my head? I'm a fraud. I'll never keep it off. I've never been able to do this before. I don't deserve to lose weight. All of those things were the running ticker tape in my head, sometimes louder than others, but it was there. Even when I could quiet it, it was still inside of me, right? And so 7.5 years ago, when I decided to do it differently, I had to face those thoughts and say, I don't choose you. I don't choose to believe that I'm a fraud. I don't choose to believe that I can't keep this weight off. I don't choose these things, but I had to look at it, right? But staying there was safe. I knew how to do that. As terrible as it felt, I knew how to be deep in debt. I knew that struggle. I knew how to be overweight. I knew how to feel miserable because I wasn't taking care of my kids and I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be or the wife that I wanted to be. I knew how to do that. It was safe. It didn't feel good, but it was safe. The future version of myself, where I am here, when that version of myself, my drunk monkey is what I call it, right? You guys have heard about Cliff. That future version of myself was terrified. I mean, was over here, but that current version of myself, that was looking over to the future version of myself, was terrified because I know how to deal with these challenges here. I don't know how to deal with the challenges over there. I don't know how to get past that and what's going to be there. And it may not feel good. It may not feel safe. It may kill me. I may die. And so I'm just going to stay right here in the ick. And that's what happens. But we have to look it in the eye and say, I don't choose you. I don't choose you. I choose the future version of myself. And when you do that, you can then start to take those baby steps to change your life. If it's health and wellness, add a few steps every day. Add one healthy meal in the day, right? Have one less something, right? If it's building your business, make one scary phone call, right? We've all survived our worst, 100% of our worst days. We've all survived a whole lot of scary things. All the things that we need to do to reach our goals, they're not going to kill you. I promise they're not going to kill you. And if they are, then they're not the right actions. But it's going to help us move forward. But you can choose that every single day. And you can choose the energy that you let into your life. Somebody walks into the room and is in a negative place. You can choose to let that energy in, or you can choose to say, that's not my energy and I don't want it. So I challenge you, first of all, hit the share button. If this has been helpful, share this. Let other people hear this. We can all bring this back. Think what would happen if everybody in the world started choosing their energy and not just letting it happen to them. Wow, would this world change? So hit that share button, share it, and let others hear this as well. But after you do that, I want you to comment below with one thing, one action step you're going to do that is you choosing your energy. Comment below with that. And because that's how it's going to start. One action. My action, as soon as we get off of here to choose my energy, is I'm going to run myself some new inner voice tones on my scanner and listen to those, because I know that wherever I'm out of balance, that's going to start to bring me back in balance and into homeostasis. And that shifts my entire day. I do that 2 to 3 times a day. And if anybody's curious about how that works and what that does and how we can actually use this awesome device to shift energy all the time, shoot me a message and we can definitely discuss that. So I hope this was beneficial, and I will see you guys back here next week on our next Mindset Minute.